All right. So, how's everybody doing today? I am Vincent, your host. For today's session, we are going to be learning about photography. So, without further ado, we are just going to jump right into it. Introduction to photography, capturing the moments through a lens. What is photography? Photography is the art, science, and practice of capturing light with a camera to create an image. It blends creativity with technical skill to document or interpret the world. Why learn photography? From personal expression to professional opportunities, photography enables storytelling, creative exploration, and documentation of life's moments. Photography as a universal skill. Whether using a smartphone or DSLR, learning photography sharpens observation, enhances creativity, and improves visual communication. Types of photography: portrait, landscape, street, wildlife, and product photography each offer unique techniques and artistic challenges for photographers. So, with that being said, man, I've actually had the opportunity to learn photography from YouTube and also watching people that I did know in the photography field. And not saying did, however, one of the greats has passed away, and I want to give my utmost respect to him and his family. So, big shout out to Terrence BTN, which is one of the pioneers in the photography game. So, let's get back into it. Next, understanding your camera, mastering the basics of your gear, camera body and lens. The camera body houses the sensor and controls, while interchangeable lenses offer varying focal lengths and apertures for different effects. Image sensor: the sensor captures light and converts it into digital data. Sensor size: full frame APS-C micro four thirds impacts image quality and depth of field. So let me elaborate just a little bit on what a full frame camera is, what an APS-C camera is, a micro four thirds camera. Now, a full frame camera is something like a Canon 5D Mark IV. Let's just say, since that's a DSLR, and a lot of people are familiar with that camera. Then you have an APS-C camera, which will be something like a Canon 60D or 80D or 70D. Those are your APS-C cameras. And then you have cameras that are micro four thirds, which you can say the Blackmagic 4K has a micro four thirds sensor. And then if you have a Lumix camera, such as a GH series or a G7 series, then those cameras usually are micro four thirds. Viewfinder and LCD screen. Viewfinders allow precise composition, while LCD screens enable live viewing and playback. Hybrid systems combine both. So now, if you're looking at that camera in the picture, shout out to Miss Zhuang. And I just wanted to point out, as you can see, where that picture of a picture, should I say, if you look above that, then you will see a viewfinder. So think of it as a door. That door is a peephole. So once you look through that peephole, then you're able to see your photo as long as it's set to show in viewfinder as well. Then you have the live viewing portion of a camera, which is the LCD screen that you have on the back. So look at that camera, and you will see that the picture of the picture is being shown on the LCD screen. And now let's go for the basic controls. So the basic controls: familiarize with buttons and dials, mode selector, shutter button, ISO, aperture, and shutter speed controls. Understanding these enables creative control. Now, if I have to go with the most important things on here, it would be the shutter button, the ISO, and the aperture. And the reason why is because these are the three basic dials that you need to know if you're going to take a picture that will capture it the way that you want to, as long as you're in manual mode. The exposure triangle, balancing light with ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. That's what I had just explained. Now let's deep dive into them. ISO, which is the light sensitivity. ISO measures your sensor's sensitivity to light. Low ISO, 100 to 400, offers clean images, while high ISO, 1600 plus, helps in low light but introduces noise. The aperture, the depth of field, measured in f stops. My examples are f1.8 and f16. Aperture controls the size of the lens opening. A wide aperture, low f number gives shallow depth. Narrow gives deep focus. Shutter speed, motion control, the duration the sensor is exposed to light. Faster shutter speeds freeze action. Slow speeds blur motion for creative effects like light trails. And lastly, we have the triangle balance. The ISO, aperture, and shutter speed must be adjusted together for proper exposure. Changing one requires compensating with the others. This is very important, and you must know this to take a proper photo. Aperture, controlling depth of field, mastering black background blur, and light entry. What is your aperture? Aperture refers to the lens opening that controls how much light enters the camera. It's measured in f stops like f1.8, f4, or f16. Wide versus narrow aperture. A wide aperture like f1.8 lets in more light and produces a shallow depth of field. A narrow aperture such as f16 allows less light and gives sharp focus across the image. Depth of field control. Aperture determines how much of the image is in focus. Use wide apertures for portrait blur. People like to say bokeh a lot. That is very common in this photography space. And narrow ones for landscapes. Light sensitivity link. Larger apertures brighten the image, allowing faster shutter speeds in low light, while smaller apertures require longer exposure or a higher ISO. Shutter speed, capturing or freezing motion, controlling time and movement in photography. What is the shutter speed? Shutter speed is the amount of time the camera sensor is exposed to light, measured in seconds or fractions of a second. Examples: 1 over 1,000 is 1 second. Freezing fast action, faster shutter speeds like 1 over 500 or faster freeze movement, ideal for sports, wildlife, and action photography. So I just want to elaborate on that just a tad bit. I am a sports photographer as well as an action photographer because I do shoot events as well. Now, this is very important. This is something that you must know. So pay attention to this section so that way you can kind of just figure out, okay, what do I shoot? And I should know where my shutter speed should be to capture the action that is being presented to you on the job that you will be accepting. Creative motion blur, slow shutter speeds such as 1 over 30s and slower capture motion blur useful for light trails, waterfalls, and creative effects, which is not something that I do, but it is very creative. Camera stability. Using slow shutter speeds often requires a tripod to prevent unwanted blur from hand movement. Now, that is important as well because you don't want to have an unstable photo because it can cause motion blur. ISO light sensitivity and noise, adjusting ISO for different lighting conditions. What is ISO? ISO measures the camera sensor sensitivity to light. Low ISO, example like 100, is best for bright conditions. High ISO, example 3200, is used in low light. ISO and image brightness increases. ISO brightens the image, making it possible to shoot in dim environments without slowing shutter speed or widening your aperture. ISO and digital noise. High ISO increases the likelihood of digital noise, grainy artifacts that reduce image clarity, especially in shadows or uniform areas. ISO in practice, use the lowest ISO that gives you correct exposure. Auto ISO is useful, but manual control gives you better results when paired with exposure triangle. Basic composition techniques. How to frame a visually engaging photo. Now, the rule of thirds divides the frame into a 3 by 3 grid and position subjects along lines or intersections for dynamic balance and visual interest. Leading lines, use natural or man made lines, roads, fences, shadows to guide the viewer's eye through the photo and emphasize depth. Framing, use elements like arches, windows, or foliage to naturally frame your subject and draw attention to it. Negative space, leaving empty space around the subject emphasizes scale and simplicity, enhancing the photo's mood and message. Lighting versus natural versus artificial. Mastering light for stronger images. Importance of lighting. Lighting determines the mood, clarity, and impact of a photo. Mastering light is crucial for both technical accuracy and artistic expression. Natural light, sunlight provides a broad source, soft light source. Golden hour and overcast skies offer flattering lighting conditions for portraits and landscapes. Artificial light includes lamps, flashes, and studio lights, offers control over direction, intensity, and control temperature in any environment. Natural light. Sunlight provides a broad, soft light source. Golden hour and overcast skies offer flattering light conditions for portraits and landscapes. And I think I just went back over that, but that is my mistake. So forgive me for that. Combining light sources, mixing natural and artificial light requires white balance, adjustments, and creative positioning to achieve desired effects. Now, let's move on to the next one. Common mistakes beginners make. And I believe that we all have things in our lives that when we first started doing something, we did bump our heads a little bit. So hopefully this is helping you a whole lot. Just to even see the knowledge without even seeing the pictures yet. Having that knowledge is very important. Overexposure and underexposure, relying too much on auto mode can lead to poorly exposed images. Learn to manually adjust the exposure triangle for better results. Ignoring focus. Using the wrong focus mode or not locking focus can result in blurry subjects. Always double check focus, especially in portraits. Bad composition. Placing subjects dead center, cutting off limbs, or ignoring the background can weaken photos. Use composition rules to guide framing. Neglecting light. Shooting in poor light without compensation leads to flat or noisy images. Observe light quality and direction before shooting. Practice tips and next steps. Turning knowledge into skill through practice. Practice with purpose. Don't shoot, don't just shoot randomly. Set goals for each session, like mastering exposure, experimenting with composition, or trying different light sources. Shoot regularly. Consistency builds familiarity with your gear and strengthens your visual instincts. Make photography a habit, not a one-off activity. Review and reflect regularly. Analyze your photos to spot patterns, weaknesses, and growth. Use feedback and critiques to evolve your technique. Learn from others. Follow tutorials, join online communities, and study the work of great photographers to broaden your perspective and find inspiration. And that is going to be it for this session of basic photography knowledge. Now, I just want to extend my invitation to you. Please join my school community. The link will be in the description, and we'll be able to learn from each other and being able to build a community as well. Again, my name is Vincent Jones of V. Edward Jones Productions. Hope you have a great day.